You may not be neurodivergent, you may just be in the wrong culture.
You could even be both. Based on my research findings, I would agree with this woman in the previous video with the caveat that you can be both because intersectionality is real. I'm Dr. Anna Kalschmidt. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for people from low-income backgrounds. And one of those unwritten rules is learning to be indirect in the workplace, and I think that's why I was tagged in the previous video. There's a playlist on my profile where I go over all the unwritten rules from my study. I'm still going through them every week, but one of them is learning to be indirect. And this is very frustrating for people who are from working class backgrounds, or people who are more candid. There is research on there are different cultural conflict styles, and this is the intercultural conflict style model, which this is a slide I use in my conflict resolution training. And you can see they've looked at the way different racial and national groups typically categorize in each of these styles, but my research is unique because it looks at a little more nuance with class in the US. So for example, this shows that European and Euro Americans, like white Americans, tend to have the discussion style, which is being direct while showing more emotional restraint. And that is not consistent with my experience being from the white working class or my research, because the working class tend to be much more direct and show more emotional expression, but that is not what is rewarded in white collar workplaces. Whatever culture we're raised in, we don't perceive as culture. We just perceive it as normal until we're in another culture that does something different. And then we're like, what is going on? If you grow up in a culture that's very indirect and not emotionally expressive, then you may go into corporate America and be like, yeah, this is fine. This is professionalism. This is how it works. But if you grow up in a culture that is more direct and shows emotion or some kind of combination of those, then you're going to be like, what? Why is nobody saying the things out loud? What is happening? And you're probably looking at all of these racial national groups around it going, I don't see myself there, or I was over there, or I don't know, corporate America is very, very white, so why is it saying this? Yeah, this research hasn't looked at class, and that's what I'm attempting to do with my research, is add some nuance to that conversation. Because European, I get comments from people from like she mentioned in the previous video, that Dutch people are far more direct. A lot of them are white, but it's different than corporate America. That's different than upper middle class, wealthy, white. And for me, these conversations always make me wonder, what the hell is neurotypical? Because there are so many different types of neurodivergence. Like, I'm about to do another study on the unwritten rules. I want to include people who are different types of neurodivergent. And there are so many things I need to think about, like so many different types of what have been considered disorders. But what is neurotypical? Is it really the absence of not having those things, or is it something like professionalism, which is one of those things that's sold to you as, well, this is a way to be? Or was it just norms of one very small group of people that we've assumed everyone needs to have to give them power?